You think you're productive. You have a $3,000 MacBook, 14 browser tabs open, a Notion workspace for your Life OS, and a shelf full of unread self-help books. You're an idiot. You have more information in your pocket than a 14th century king, and yet you can't focus on a single task for more than 6 minutes without checking your phone. Your brain is a leaky bucket, and you're trying to fill it with a fire hose of garbage. Now, look at Siddhartha Gautama. 2,500 years ago, this man had nothing, no internet, no libraries, no productivity hacks. He sat under a tree and rewired his own biology. Most people think he was just a religious figure praying for peace. Wrong. He was the world's first elite cognitive hacker. He didn't find nirvana, he found a way to bypass the dopamine-seeking hardware of the human brain to achieve a state of hyper-learning and total emotional dominance. He didn't just meditate, he executed a system-level wipe of his mental hard drive. I'm about to show you exactly how he did it, and by the end of this video, you'll realize that everything you've been taught about working hard is a lie designed to keep you average. The subtraction advantage. Most people think learning is about adding. Add more facts, add more skills, add more content. You're trying to install 4K software on a 1995 processor. It's useless. The Buddha realized the opposite. Mastery isn't about what you add, it's about what you delete. He called it anatta, or the concept of non-self. In modern neuro-language, this is a radical ego-death protocol designed to shut down the default mode network. The DMN is the part of your brain that ruminates on the past, worries about the future, and cares about what your neighbors think of your new car. Research from Harvard University shows that the DMN is active 47% of the time. That means nearly half of your life is spent in a zombie state of useless thought. The Buddha didn't have time for that. He realized that your ego is just a cache of temporary files that slows down your processing speed. While you're worrying about your LinkedIn profile, he was practicing radical subtraction. He stripped away every distraction, luxury, status, even food, until his brain had no choice but to focus on reality. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi calls this flow, but the Buddha took it further. He achieved a permanent state of cognitive silence. Imagine having 100% of your neural energy dedicated to the task at hand. No background noise, no what-ifs, just pure, raw data processing. Most people's brains are like a browser with 50 tabs open. The Buddha's brain was a single high-speed command line. You think you need a new app. You don't. You need to delete the garbage. But here's the problem. Even if you delete the apps, your brain still craves the hit. That leads us to the second advantage. Dopamine fasting and the middle way. You're a dopamine addict. You wake up, you check your phone. You eat, you watch YouTube. You work, you listen to podcasts. Your brain is constantly bathed in cheap neurochemicals. This creates dopamine resistance. You need more and more stimulation just to feel normal. This is why deep work feels like torture to you. You're not lazy, you're chemically broken. The Buddha saw this coming. He called it tanha, the thirst or craving. He spent years as an ascetic, starving himself and living in the woods. He tried the extreme of zero stimulation and realized it didn't work either. It just created a different kind of obsession. So he invented the middle way. Most people think this is about moderation. Wrong. It's about sensitivity optimization. By removing high-intensity stimuli, he lowered his dopamine baseline. When you stop eating sugar, a plain apple tastes like candy. When you stop scrolling TikTok, a dense philosophical text becomes as engaging as a thriller movie. The Buddha resensitized his brain to the micro-signals of reality. Dr. Richard Davidson at the University of Wisconsin-Madison studied the brains of long-term practitioners of this method. He found they have significantly higher gamma wave activity, the brain waves associated with high-level information processing and aha moments. While you're chasing macro highs, likes, money, status, the Buddha was harvesting micro insights. He could sit and observe the sensation of his own breath and gain more neurological data than you do from an entire semester of college. He wasn't bored because his brain was so sensitive that nothing became everything. Hit subscribe before you forget that your focus is being stolen. We fix the theft here. One more thing though. Focus is great, but if you don't have a structure to store what you learn, it's just mental masturbation. The Eightfold Operating System. The Buddha didn't just tell people to be good, he gave them a structured algorithmic framework for living, the Eightfold Path. Most people view this as a religious list. Wrong. It's a heuristic system for cognitive integrity. Let's look at just 3 parts through a productivity lens. 1. Right view, information hygiene. He insisted on seeing things as they actually are, not as you want them to be. Most people suffer from confirmation bias. They only read what they already agree with. They're idiots. The Buddha practiced radical objectivity. He treated his own thoughts as hypotheses to be tested, not truths to be believed. Right effort, the 1% focus rule. He spoke about preventing unwholesome states from arising and encouraging wholesome ones. In modern terms, environment design. He knew that willpower is a finite resource. If you have to fight the urge to check your phone, you've already lost. He designed his environment, the forest, the monastery, to make focus the path of least resistance. Right mindfulness, the real-time debugger. This is the crown jewel. Mindfulness isn't about relaxing, it's about metacognition. It's the ability to monitor your own thoughts in real time. Imagine you're coding, a bug appears. Most people get angry and quit. The mindful learner sees the anger, labels it sensation of frustration, and goes back to work. They don't identify with the emotion. They see it as a notification that can be swiped away. Researcher Robert Bjork calls this desirable difficulty. By leaning into the discomfort of the middle way, the Buddha was constantly encoding information at a deeper level. He wasn't just memorizing, he was integrating. The result? He could learn a complex philosophical system or a new language in a fraction of the time it takes a smart person today. He had no working memory leaks because his attention was a closed circuit. The Bodhi Tree Protocol. Extreme deep work. The most famous part of the story, he sat under a tree and vowed not to get up until he found the answer. Most people think this is a myth about persistence. Wrong. It's an example of forced cognitive synthesis. When you hit a hard problem, you pivot. You go for a walk, you check your email, you take a break. You're breaking the neural tension required to solve the problem. The Buddha applied extreme constraint. By refusing to move, he forced his brain to resolve its internal contradictions. Think of it like a stress test for a CPU. Under extreme load, the weak connections break and the strong ones consolidate. This is how he achieved enlightenment. It was a massive, sudden reorganization of his neuropathways. This is the secret method schools won't teach you: immersion without escape. Cal Newport calls it deep work, but the Buddha practiced deep being. He didn't just study the problem, he became the problem. He removed the gap between the learner and the subject. But here's the problem, though. You can hear all of this, you can understand the middle way, and you can admire the Buddha's focus, but you're still going to check your phone in 3 minutes. You know the system, but your hardware is still addicted to the average life. You're like a surgeon who knows how to operate but has shaky hands because he's drunk. You're cognitively drunk on digital noise. Most people hear this, feel inspired for 10 seconds, and then return to their useless, distracted lives. They'll keep complaining they don't have enough time while they spend 4 hours a day on infinite scroll. That's why I made this video breaking down the exact dopamine detox protocol you need to perform to reset your brain sensitivity so you can actually use the Buddhist methods. If you don't fix the hardware first, the software won't run. Watch it next, or don't. Stay average. It's easier.